This is an important day in the life of the university, a day to celebrate the success of our graduates. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you to this ceremony and to formally declare this congregation of the university open. Please be seated.
Chancellor, distinguished guests, ladies, gentlemen and graduates. As Vice-Chancellor, it is a great privilege to welcome you to Portsmouth, whether you know our great city or are coming here for the first time. I am honoured to be sharing this important occasion with you, our graduates, and with your families and friends. On behalf of all staff at the university, I would like to congratulate our graduates on your well-earned achievement. I am immensely proud of your commitment to your studies and your broader development as worthy citizens, as you should be also. It is an amazing fact that this year 2,600 of our students were active in volunteering. From helping children learn to read to supporting those suffering dementia, our students give a tremendous amount to this community. As we are all too aware, we are living through a period of tremendous uncertainty. There is unrest in the world, and closer to home, Brexit remains unresolved. At graduation last year, I said, soon the UK will leave the European Union. And I was hopelessly wrong. Whatever your views on Brexit, we do need a resolution so that the country can focus on other issues. University funding is one of those issues. A recent report, the Augur Review, recommended that universities receive less money through tuition fees, but that graduates repay their loans for longer, for up to 40 years after graduation. If this report is implemented, graduates sitting in this room in future years can expect to pay more for less investment in their education. And I just don't believe that will appeal to them. But cutting the tuition fee cap will generate some favourable newspaper headlines and does appeal to some politicians. Political short-termism is one of the biggest problems our society faces. And collectively, we are such a long way from making the changes needed to mitigate, for example, the effects of climate change, or think about the significant social implications of technology change and the rise of artificial intelligence. In the face of all of this, it is sometimes tempting to be pessimistic. And then a day like today comes along and I see passionate, highly skilled and educated people such as yourselves, full of ideas, ready and prepared to reshape our world. Seeing you graduate today is a tremendous feeling and a welcome reminder that whatever our current difficulties, our future is in good hands. Of course, that does not mean that your future journeys are going to be easy, but what is clear is that the demand for the kind of skills you have developed continues to grow. Since 2010, more than 2 million new jobs have been created in the UK. Around 2/3 of those jobs have been in highly skilled professions. We believe it is the university's core purpose to prepare our students for their future work and careers. Indeed, at Portsmouth, we are creating a new breed of university, one where learning is rooted in the real world and prepares you to make a success of whatever path you choose to follow. We pride ourselves in our research that changes lives and extends the boundaries of knowledge. In June, the university was awarded £5.8 million from Research England to help find a solution to one of the world's greatest environmental challenges, plastic waste. Early in the year, our Institute of Cosmology and Gravitation was awarded £2 million to continue its world-leading research into dark energy and gravitational waves, researching the very boundary of our universe. The university is constantly innovating. This month, entrepreneur and philanthropist Dame Stephanie Shirley opened the university's Future Technology Centre, a £12 million facility designed to teach engineering in a new way to make it more appealing to a broader range of students, particularly women who are underrepresented in the profession. And this summer, we began construction of our new indoor sports facility, which will be the first with a swimming pool rated climate excellent by the UK government. You should feel that you are graduating from a university that is recognised as part of the modern elite of universities, tackling the real challenges of the 21st century. When many of you joined the university 3 years ago, we were ranked 43rd in the UK Guardian League table. Now we are ranked 21st. But remember that in graduating today, you are part of a privileged minority that has had the advantages of a university education. And with that privilege comes responsibility. Please reflect upon your obligations as graduates of our university. You are trustees of the skills and abilities you have developed, and I urge you to use your talents to help enrich society, to make a difference for the benefit of others. Raise aspirations among all those you encounter and set an example in behaviour and achievement that others will seek to emulate. You have lived in a diverse environment during your time with the university. Take that appreciations of difference and culture and friendship with you in all that you do. And as you think about achieving your greatest ambitions, think about the exceptional team you have around you. You've had the support of the university community all through your time here. Our excellent staff have provided a supportive environment in which you have learnt, lived, and flourished. Your fellow students, no doubt, have lifted you through the tough times and celebrated with you in the good times and will remain lifelong friends. And of course, those closest to you will have been your most important team. Parents, partners, children, wider family and friends all have helped by providing encouragement, a shoulder to cry on, a listening ear. But most of all, they will have kept faith in you and willed you to succeed. I think it's therefore appropriate that you, our graduates, should stand up and with a warm round of applause and some cheering, join me in thanking your family and friends who are here today. Please stand up. I think you can be a bit louder than that, some proper cheering. Fantastic, thank you very much. The university has been part of your team, supporting you throughout your time here, and you know, we'd like to remain part of your team in the future. We want you to be successful because your successes and achievements will reflect well upon your university. And of course, the success of your university reflects well on you. You are the second cohort of graduates who will be asked to take part in what is called the Graduate Outcomes Survey. At some point in the next 2 years, you will be contacted and asked questions about your career path since leaving us. Please do engage with this survey. We always strive to improve, and this survey will give us vital information to do exactly that. So today is just the beginning of a lifelong relationship with your university as members of an international community of Portsmouth graduates. Please make use of our excellent Alumni Association and keep in touch as you continue your journey through life. We want to know where you go next, as you will be the future leaders, thinkers, creators and innovators. Be a force for positive change within a world that desperately needs your talents. And when you are successful, please come back to visit us and be part of our elite team supporting future generations of Portsmouth students. I urge you to live by the values of your university in all that you do. Be responsible, be open, be ambitious, and never settle for second best. I congratulate you on your awards and wish you every success for your future. Thank you. Now, before we come to the student graduation, I have pleasure in introducing our honorary graduate for today. So the university has resolved to confer the degree of Doctor of Letters honoris causa upon Professor Lynn Segal.
Chancellor, guests, Lynn Segal is Anniversary Professor of Psychology and Gender Studies at Birkbeck, University of London, a position she's held for the past 20 years. She was born in Sydney, the middle of 3 children. Her parents were both doctors. Her father, Reuben, was a general practitioner, and her mother, Isa, a surgeon. Reuben and Isa had great ambitions for their children and expected them to be the best at everything they did. Lynn, as you will learn today, would not have disappointed them. After completing her undergraduate degree in psychology at the University of Sydney, she went on to do a PhD there. No one in the whole of Australia was sufficiently expert to examine it, and the thesis had to be sent abroad. The quality of her research was such that those who did examine it offered her a job, but she didn't accept, preferring initially to remain in Sydney despite the fact that her approach and interests were so different from what was being taught and researched in Australian psychology departments at the time. It meant that there was no possibility of an academic job there or anywhere else in the country. For Lynn, the personal, the intellectual, and the political have always been intimately and intricately connected. In part a result of her experience of growing up in a home where her mother was, by Lynn's own admission, absent much of the time and distant when she was present, she found comradeship and support as a teenager in a group of anarchist libertarians in Sydney known as the Push. This group was engaged in permanent anti-establishment protest, and so far as one can tell from the accounts of those who were there at the time, fueled itself not only on discussions of philosophy and political theory, but on a fair amount of sex, drugs, and rock and roll. In a biographical profile published in The Nation in 2018, Lynn is quoted as saying that at a time when feminist politics were still very much in their infancy, the Push provided, and I quote, a space that encouraged women to think and act just like a man, and hence for us then more freely than anywhere else in those days. The comradeship and solidarity of her time with the Push and with other political activists had a significant impact on Lynn's intellectual and political life. She said that she was lucky to have experienced the radicalism of the 60s at the time she was coming of age, just as in the 70s she was fortunate to have become a mother when feminism was beginning to make a real impact. She also appreciates the fact that her first academic job as a lecturer at Middlesex Polytechnic in the early 70s was at a time and in an institution where it was possible to take a less conservative approach to teaching than would have been the case in traditional universities. The motto of the Push, used by Wilhelm Reich in his book The Sexual Revolution and taken from Karl Marx, is in many ways indicative of the way Lynn has pursued her work. It reads, "Since it is not for us to create a plan for the future that will hold for all time, all the more surely what we contemporaries have to do is the uncompromising critical evaluation of all that exists, uncompromising in the sense that our criticism fears neither its own results nor the conflict with the powers that be." This motto is apt. As the sole or joint author of 11 books, 3 edited essay collections, and too many articles to count, Lynn has tackled topics that others have not, and where they have tackled them, she's more often than not refused to accept the prevailing position of those with whom she might be expected to agree. For example, she's taken issue with those feminists who claim that heterosexuality is necessarily oppressive to women, and while she accepts that some women have broken through the glass ceiling and that there is greater gender equality now, she argues that the remaining barriers to true equality are caused not by gender per se, but by the disproportionate burden that women still carry as regards child-rearing and other forms of care. This interest in dependency and interdependency finds expression in other of Lynn's writing. In her earliest significant book, Beyond the Fragments, published in 1981, she and her co-authors Hilary Wainwright and Sheila Rowbottom argued that socialism needed to embrace and nurture the identity politics that was building momentum at that time. Groups of people and social movements organized around, for example, women's and gay rights, the environment, and black and minority ethnic concerns needed to come together to form an alliance if progressive change was to be achieved in a society that was just 2 years into a Conservative government led then by Margaret Thatcher. In a recent reflection, Lynn acknowledges that they underestimated the difficulties of getting people with their own particular agendas to work collectively, but she remains stubbornly and wonderfully optimistic about the potential that people can achieve if they come together and share their ambitions. Her own experience of political activism, both in Australia and later in North London, informs this and is a theme of 2 more of her books. In Out of Time, The Perils and Pleasures of Aging, Lynn writes passionately about the importance of older people connecting with those who are younger, and in Radical Happiness, Moments of Collective Joy, she insists that true happiness is something that can only really be achieved in community with others. She's written that although political aspirations may not be realized, they are, and I quote, "likely nevertheless to make us feel more alive and hence happier along the way, at least when they help to connect us to and express concern for those around us." Lynn's colleagues and friends recognize this uplifting spirit as well as her intellectual and pedagogic contribution. Her close friend and co-author Hilary Wainwright says this of her: "On first meeting Lynn Segal, you will be struck not only by her fiery beauty, but by her immense kindness, attentiveness, and desire to make a personal connection. On first hearing Lynn speak publicly, you'll be struck by her boldness and her passion. Underlying both is a powerful sense of injustice and a determination to speak out both on behalf of its victims and also to draw attention to their creative self-organization and desire for change." And her colleague at Birkbeck, Professor Stephen Frosch, has said to me, "Lynn is quite an extraordinary force of nature, incredibly engaged and in academic and political work with what seems to be untiring energy. She is a genuine public intellectual, and her books and talks are lively and accessible as well as scholarly and continue to inform and entertain in the best traditions of that approach." Now, these accolades are quite something, but how could we sum up Lynn's qualities and achievements? And although it may seem odd, I think the life of Henri Matisse, the artist, is helpful here. Matisse lived to the grand old age of 84. In his early 70s, a disabling operation meant he was no longer able to work with oil paints, and so working from his wheelchair or in his bed, he turned to brightly painted paper as his medium. This he'd cut into hundreds of differently shaped pieces and get his assistants to assemble under his direction to create the brilliant and vibrant pieces we now recognize as some of his most original work. Why might we compare Lynn Segal, the academic and activist, to Matisse, the artist? Well, I think there are 2 reasons. First, Matisse refused to let getting older be a barrier to his vision, ambition, and creativity. And he further refused to let the politics of the time, he was doing all this during the Nazi occupation of France, defeat his values or his spirit. Lynn too refuses to accept that aging needs to be a negative experience and believes that one can still do great things. She too recognises that doing those great things and having an optimism about the future rely on embracing new things and working with others to achieve them. And she's consistently refused to let the dominant politics of the time dilute her own values. When asked by Louis Aragon, the surrealist poet, how he could create such bright and exuberant art in the darkest days of fascist dictatorship, Matisse replied, "I do it in self-defense," a response I suspect Lynn might understand. The second reason Matisse is a good comparator also derives from this later period in his life. In 1947, at the age of 78, he published Jazz, accepted by many to be one of the greatest art books of the 20th century. It comprises prints of many of the paper cutouts which in their original form had been pinned to the wall by his sickbed. In the book, Matisse included thoughts and observations about the process of making them and what they meant to him. One of these observations seems to me to be a particularly apt way of including this appreciation. Lynn is a passionate gardener. I've had the pleasure of visiting her garden in North London. It's a wild and wonderful mass of bright, eclectic plants, all different, all jostling together, all creating as a collective something unique. Above all, it is an optimistic place, a place in which year after year, season after season, those things which fail to thrive give way to those things which do. Like Lynn, the garden is continuously renewing itself, always in a process of becoming, never quite finished. Matisse would have loved it. Writing about his paper cutouts which expressed the culmination of his artistic genius and which brought both him during his lifetime and others since such contentment, he wrote, and I quote, "Happy are those who sing with all their heart from the bottoms of their hearts to find joy in the sky, the trees, the flowers. There are always flowers for those who want to see them." Lynn is someone who, in a career that has inspired me and so many others, is someone who in people, in friendships, in work, in life, and not least, of course, in her garden, has found and taught us the importance of joy and of opening our eyes so that we might see and fully appreciate the flowers. Chancellor, I present Professor Lynn Segal for the degree of Doctor of Letters, honoris causa.
By the authority of the University, I admit you to the award of Doctor of Letters, honoris causa.
I'm trying to be modern. I hope this works. No, I'm not getting it open. So, thank you so much for those words, Matthew. They're quite amazing, all too generous. And to be compared to Henri Matisse, how incredible. And all the time and patience that you put into recalling my life and talking about it is just wonderful. It is really, truly something very special to have one's past rolled out so elegantly. And thank you to Professor Galbraith and all those at Portsmouth who have had any part in honouring me for this award and creating such a memorable and such a joyful moment for me to share with all of you here. Now, I've always known about Portsmouth because Portsmouth was early on a key institution hoping to establish and develop women's and gender studies, reclaiming women's radical histories, as well as pioneering in the subsequent growth of queer theory, particularly from the 1990s. And this is all scholarship that touches on my own work and my own activism, as well as, of course, on Matthew's himself with his groundbreaking work on sexual risk, intimacy, and responsibility. Indeed, only last month, as some of you may know, I see that Portsmouth hosted a queer celebrity conference, attracting quite a few academic celebrities from around the globe, including Professor Jack Halberstam and Professor Richard Dyer and others, all on the cutting edge of gender and queer scholarship. I wish I could have attended. And of course, if we're interested in celebrity, or perhaps in resisting some of the noxious effects of celebrity, there's nothing better for you to have studied than media studies, journalism, film, and the various things you in the front there to my left have all been studying. So I know that you will make very good use of it in facing these rather precarious times, because, as Professor Galbraith just mentioned, I'm all the more grateful to be honoured with this award at this time today, knowing how very unpredictable and how troubling and uncertain these times are for many people. And this certainly impacts on higher education and on all of you graduating today, as both staff and students have faced serious cutbacks in government funding, and you've had to face rising fees and ever greater pressure to tailor your scholarship to something that the job market may pay attention to, or your research to what is seen as having some sort of value in the present, often related to commercial funding. So I know, for instance, that while most young scholars are keeping their passions alive, and I'm sure that you will, many, far too many, do face hard times in precarious employment after graduation. So I'm just wishing that you don't, and that the times are going to open up. And looking out at the world today, it does seem to me that we are at a crossroads in all sorts of ways, with many fears and with much pessimism, sometimes threatening to overwhelm hope and compassion. But it was so interesting for me to hear what Professor Galbraith said about the work that you've done in the community, and I think that's going to be really crucial in you keeping your hopes and passions alive and keeping at bay all the morbid symptoms that we know to be around us of rising racism and intolerance, accompanying the growing inequality which we've been seeing, especially since 2008. But I do see around me so many signs of a renewed engagement, such as I know many of you had, including challenging intellectual work, trying to understand this current conjuncture. And I've been to so many meetings and so many teaching situations, including the World Transformed and so on, where young people are doing everything they can to think of how to stay in touch with the present, understand the present, and find ways of moving forward, devise the best practices for surmounting those morbid symptoms, those threats of rising racism and so on. Whether we're facing the effects of decades of shrinking public resources, or trying in every way we can to work out how to promote more possibilities for more people and tackle the threats of climate change and disappearing biodiversity and so on. I know how many young people have been involved in that, and how much we have to learn from them. Almost 50 years ago, when I come of age, in the heyday of second wave feminism, it was rather easy to find resources for the hope that we could not only be agents of our own lives, but also collective agents in promoting the well-being of all. Indeed, though we were often angry about the sexist landscape we occupied then, having to invent new words even to describe it, our ambitions seemed limitless, even as we tried, however inadequately, to be open and to be inclusive. Back then, those I searched for to educate and inspire me were usually older figures, perhaps Raymond Williams and Stuart Hall, alongside Adrienne Rich, and traveling further back, Mary Wollstonecraft and Simone de Beauvoir. Today, rather differently, I know I also have so much to learn from rising generations, confronting with fresh eyes the current state of things with its deepening insecurities and the things I have already described. And my deepest desire, which again Matthew has already mentioned, and why I'm so happy to be here today, is the hope that all of us can continue to reach out across the generations as we old folk try and revivify the past, knowing how fast it can be written off or written over by the contingencies of the present, even as those coming after me can help me grapple with the global present and not just their far greater superiority in technology. They would have got this computer open and been able to read the speech from that. And digital economic platforms and all the things that I'm sure you can grapple with, which trouble me and I find so difficult to deal with. We do need each other, which I guess is what I've written about in all my books, but especially those last two books that Matthew mentioned, The Pleasures and Perils of Aging and Moments of Collective Joy. For while so much has changed in my lifetime, it really has changed. It still carries so many of the traces of the past, and not least in the burdens of care still resting more fully on women's shoulders, something that I'm writing about today in a book tentatively called Lean on Me, Disavowals of Dependency. And those troubles and burdens that still rest, in particular on women, but also on men, continue despite and because of most of us being breadwinners today, women as well as men, but outsourcing the work of care to global care chains, even as patterns of violence and neglect reach back through time, usually reflecting systemic hierarchies of power, even if again emerging in new ways. So finally, though, I want to stress, as I'm sure we here all know, that it's education, and in particular, the education of desire, a term E.P. Thompson and other people have talked about in writing about William Morris. Education of desire for inclusiveness, solidarity, and shared commitments to understanding and tackling the harms of the present. This is what remains today, as it's always been, I feel, one of the chief ways to ensure we never lose our passions to embrace the world as it is, however it is. And this means that we never stop wondering how best to grasp, theorize, and above all, how best to communicate the nature and complexity of events and situations, all the better to share hopes for rewarding and fulfilling futures for all of us. So thank you so much, everybody, for enabling me to be here today and for giving me this award, the Doctor of Letters. Thank you very much.
Okay, so now comes the main part of today's ceremony, and the one that you've all been looking forward to, which of course is the graduation of our students. And the students will come up to the lectern, their names will be read out, and they will process across the stage to be congratulated firstly by our Chancellor at the centre of the stage, and then by the Executive Dean of the Faculty of Creative and Cultural Industries, Professor Trevor Keeble. But before we do that, there are some formal words that the Academic Registrar and the Chancellor have to say to officially confirm that everyone who is graduating is entitled to do so.
Chancellor, as Academic Registrar, I confirm that those presented at this ceremony have successfully completed their studies and have satisfied all conditions and requirements of the University.
By the authority of the University, I confirm that all those who are duly qualified are hereby admitted to the awards for which they are presented.
Chancellor, I present to you the following successful candidates from the School of Film, Media and Communication. For the award of Bachelor of Arts in Creative Writing, Jules Bryony Sandercock. For Bachelor of Arts in Creative and Media Writing, Paul Beresford. With first class honours, Ellie Dunstall. With first class honours, Lisa Foote. Gracie Fuller. With first class honours, Phoebe Hedges. Leslie Hurst. Molly Jackson. With first class honours and with the London Magazine Publication Prize, Emily Priest. Abigail Proudfoot. Maria Sewell. With first class honours, Charlie Smith. With first class honours, Nikias Tomasiello. Kelly Turner. Aaron Wolfe. For Bachelor of Arts in English and Creative Writing, Becky Cowan. With first class honours and with the London Magazine Internship Prize, Laura Davis. With first class honours, Sophie Elliott. Rosie Gigg. Zoe Hine. Thomas Hullier. Alicia King. Naomi Lane. With With first-class honours, Amerigo Luxmore. Chloe McTaggart. With first-class honours, Rebecca Munro. Shannon Murphy. Jessica Petch. Paul Rigler. Christopher Wagner. For Bachelor of Arts in Film Industries and Creative Writing, Hope Bellingham. With first-class honours, Anna Servankova. Stephanie Hardy. Lewis Jeffries. Samuel Kelly. Angel Mika Kemp. Andrew Larder. Rachel Porter. Hope Smith. Josh Stevenson. Annabelle Usbold. For Bachelor of Arts in Journalism, Sahej Dillon. Timothy Edgley. With first-class honours, Paige Holland. Ash Jones. Hope McKellar. With first-class honours and with the Bayes Group Press Association Award for the Most Outstanding Journalism Student, Simon Osler. With first-class honours, William Payne. With first-class honours, Alex Saunders. Paulina Stepura. With first-class honours, Grace Thomas. With first-class honours, Edward Tomalin. Lauren Chloe Williams. With first-class honours and with the Journalism Special Investigation Award, Ben Willits. For Bachelor of Arts in Journalism with English Language, Matt Constable. Nadia May Harper. Chloe Henshaw. Emmy Saranen. With With first-class honours and with the Briscoe PR Prize, Abigail Joy Thompson. For Bachelor of Arts in Journalism with English Literature, Natalie Brown. Maya Cook. Rayan Rabbani. Saeeda Tasnim. Sean Walford. For Bachelor of Arts in Journalism with Media Studies, Amjad Abdelkadir. Rumila Ayubi. Umit Chalayan. Michael DeLaura. Rebecca Durband. Tom Edwards. Rabab Maia. Gabriel Enlow Scott. With first-class honours and with the Journalism Dissertation Award, Nathan Evers. Phoebe Ella Halford-Barden. Maha Khan. Heather Lamb. Jasmine Sata Mafinda. Chloe Parkman. With first-class honours, Victoria Salmons. Cameron Smith. Anelia Stanova. Dan Sutton. Amy Taylor. Misha Vaughan Gray.
Chancellor, I present to you the following successful candidates from the School of Film, Media and Communication. For the award of Bachelor of Arts in Film Industries, Laoula Amadou. Mate Bunia. Charlie Castillo. Charlotte Cook. Sam Edwards. Georgia Forrow. James Hunt. Mia Hurry. Andrew Jones. Simon Jones. Ellie King. Erin Lambert. And with first class honours and the number 6 Cinema Prize for Film, Colleen Lejeune. Will Mawiney. Bronte Perdue. Chine Win Fay. Rebecca Young. And for the Bachelor of Arts in Film Production, with first class honours, Stephanie Magia. With first class honours, Jennifer Anderson. Sam Ashby. Nathan Baker. Paul Blakemore. With first class honours, Dan Bold. Justin Bowler. James Bonetti. With first class honours and with the Directors' UK Award for Best Directing in a Short Film Drama, and with the Rain Dance Award for Best Short Film, Daniel Bushan. Dale Carrington. Jacob Chapman. J.D. Cobbett. With first class honours, Harvey Coombs. Matt Coty. With first class honours, Megan Cotton. Charlie Cox. With first class honours and with the Rain Dance Award for Best Short Film, and with the Farm Award for Best Editing in a Short Film, Dominic Cox. Matt Dam. Luke Davies. With first class honours, Rebecca Eggerstrom. With first class honours and with the Adam Knopf Award for Best Production Management in a Short Film, Emma Elson. Christian Faithful. Bruno Farrar. Thomas Ferns. With first class honours, Emily Field. Milton Ribeiro. Cameron Gregory. Daniel Granada. With first-class honours and with the Chris Godier Award for Best Cinematography and with the Rain Dance Award for Best Short Film, Denis Grisenko. Kyle Hall. Ethan Harris. Jamie Harris. With first-class honours, Sydney Halstead. With first-class honours and with the Avid Award for Post-Production Excellence and with the Farm Award for Best Editing in a Short Film, Kieran Irwin. With first-class honours, Lorena Ivanovich. With first-class honours, Claire James. With first-class, Hannah Kelly. Charlie Lefebvre. With the Rain Dance Award for Best Short Film, Louis Lewindon. Jake Laskos. Oliver Lindfield. With first-class honours, Ben Long. With first-class honours, Elio Lopez Vega. With first-class honours, George Lovestrom. Rachel Lowry. With first-class honours and with the Steinheiser UK Award for Best Audio in a Short Film, Alexander Malcolm. With first-class honours, Amy Mattingley. Tilly McCarry. Mikhail Michaelidis. Jai Young Min. With first-class honours and with the Some Such Creative Agency Award for Best Producing in a Short Film, Alexandra Morris. With first-class honours, Jasmine Norwood. Oliver Oakley. With first-class honours, Rhys Palmer. With first-class honours, Charlie Petty. Sam Picton. With first-class honours, Alex Pittikas. Alexander Pollack. With first-class honours and with the Some Such Creative Agency Award for Best Directing in a Short Film, Edward Price. With first class honours, Alexander Quinn. Benjamin Ramsey. Bogdan Ranglov. With first class honours, Lawrence Rowe. With first class honours, Lee Schmidt. David Smith. Ashley Smode. Aaron Starr. Alric Story. Lai Tei. Kai Tavinder. With first class honours, James Taylor. Adam Thomas. Michael Tho. With first class honours, In Nagia With first class honours, Katie White. With first class honours and the Steinheisen UK Award for Best Audio in a Short Film, Jordan Wicks. Ben Williams. Alex Wilson. George Wood. With first class honours and the Barbara Machin Award for Best Script in a Short Film, Ethan Wright. Rosalind York. For Bachelor of Arts in Film Production with Business Communication, and with the Film Light Award for Best Colour Grading in a Short Film, Bing Yang Huang. Zi Tao. Jai-Quinn Wu. For Bachelor of Arts in Media and Digital Practice, Katie Atkinson. With first class honours, Lily Charles. With first class honours, Daniel Dorwood. Edward Dunn. Sky Vinton. Mike Moyes Kabongo. Harry Osborne. Gabriella Rowlinson. Joshua Schwartz. With first class honours and with the Portsmouth Comic Con Prize for Media, Anthony Sibley. Christopher White. Elsa Demba Martins. And awarded posthumously with first class honours, Callum Thompson. the Bachelor of Arts in Media Studies, Carolina Barthez. Casey Benton. Victoria Bonchiva. Georgina Bradford. Carly Burgess. William Carey. Jackson Chen. Katie Clark. Callum Cox. Louis Damerel. Chloe Denton. Katie Duxbury. Ellis Fordery. Kane Free. Janet Monique Gomez. With first class honours, Tara Gretsch. Jodie Hanford. Jordan Harding. Sophie Hill. Hao Jin. Nina Maria Cameradis. Jelly Zavita Katsan. Deilali Koj Okumar. Jasmine Lander. Brett Lee. Linda Lewis Rodriguez. Finley Marsh. Joe Newman. Delara Osbalchai. Alice Payne. Eleanor San Mogan. Keely Scudder. Adam Sedgwick. Ellis Shelton. Laura Stanford. Jack Tyrrell. With first class honours, Claire Uddy. Thomas Ray. Yosef Benkassi. And awarded posthumously with first class honours, Nicole Webber. Bachelor of Arts in Media Studies and Entertainment Technology, Dean Aftab. Corin Bauer. Sidi Konar Alret Bauer. Charlie Cook. Matthew Cross. Liam Fennell. Xander Gasefa. With first class honours, Emily Haysom. Zacchaeus James. Matthew Johns. Josh Martin. Joel Musa. Owen Nadu Yiwa. Aikapom Wanza Obasui. Alexander Ogden. Sade Parker. I'll say that one again. Sade Parker. Jonathan Purdue. Andrew Thomas. Adam Twadoklib. Olwyn Way. Andrew Wells. Amy Weston. And for Bachelor of Arts in Television and Film Production, with first class honours, Sophie Boston. With first class honours, Thomas Brine. With first class honours and the Rain Dance Award for Best Short Film, Kirsty Hampton. With first class honours and with the Rain Dance Award for Best Short Film, Holly Potter. Hannah Wharton. For Bachelor of Science in Television and Broadcasting, Jebba Ali. Amara Sinio. With first class honours, Declan Austin. Aaron Bailey. With first class honours, Joe Bamford. With first class honours, Gemma Bell. Nathan Clements. Ryan Constable. Emma Courtney. James Denton. With first class honours, Safia Fraser. Sam Freebody. Cara Getlavog. With first class honours and with the Sky Broadcast Prize for Best TV Producer, Thomas Halliday. Daniel Holland. Holly Jackson. With first class honours, Rhiannon Jenkins. Kopanda Leila. Colby Maguire. Safia Malik. Hannah May. With first class honours and with the Gravity Media Broadcast Award for Best Outside Broadcast Manager, Emily Merritt. With first class honours, Isabella Morelli. Jordan Murphy. Lee Parmenter. With first class honours and with the Tom Beck Award for Best Live Television Producing, Thomas Pennock. With first class honours, Kirsty Pickett. Chung Ying Pong. With first class honours and with the Sky Television Award for Best BSc Television and Broadcasting Production, Josh Round. With first class honours, Jake Saunders. With first class honours, Megan Simpson. With first class honours, Jake Thompson. Jack Webster Drury. Louis Westron. Callum Wingrove. And for the MRes Creative Industries with distinction, Nicola Young. This concludes the presentation of students from the School of Film, Media and Communication.
Today is all about our graduates, and so I think it's appropriate that we should hear from one of them. Chancellor, I present to you Alexandra Morris to respond on behalf of the graduates.
Chancellor, Vice-Chancellor, honoured guests, ladies and gentlemen, but most importantly, graduates. It's with a great honour that I stand here today in front of you as we celebrate our successes and achievements. I've thought long and hard about what it is I wish to say to you all, and so I've decided to tell you a story, as we are all storytellers in our own right, the writers of a book we call life. There was a class of school children. The teacher asked the children to get an item out of their bag which best represents who they want to be when they're older. The first child reaches into their bag and pulls out a bandage. They want to be a doctor. The second pulls out a board marker. They want to teach new things and will be a teacher. The third pulls out a toy gun, says they want to be brave and will be a soldier. The teacher looks across the classroom and sees a fourth child sitting in the corner of a room. They ask them the same question. Before I tell you how our story ends, I'd like to take this moment to thank the Faculty of Creative Technologies, particularly all the staff from the Film, Media and Communications School, for all their hard work and dedication throughout our university experience. I'm thankful for many things that I learned at university, but above all for the invisible, unspoken lessons. These lessons can't be taught in a classroom or measured by a grade. These are the lessons that help us to discover who we want to be, the best version of ourselves. To try and summarize our university experience is something I have decided is almost impossible, because everybody's experience is completely unique to the individual. To say anything different would be an injustice. Yet, as I reflect on my time at university, there is something that rings true that can be applied to university and life. It is this: that through the good and the bad, always remember to appreciate the perfect imperfectness of it all. Now to rejoin our story. The fourth child does as they are asked, reaches into their bag and pulls out a small mirror. The teacher is confused, asks the child why they've chosen this item. The child looks at the teacher, looks at the mirror, smiles, and says, "Because when I look in this, I see who I want to be when I'm older. I see me." So, graduating class of 2019, this is my challenge to you. Like the fourth child in our story, take your small mirror and smile at the reflection you see before you, because you should be nothing but proud of the individual that looks back at you. Congratulations, graduates. It's time to start writing the next chapter. What's your story going to be? Thank you.
Vice-Chancellor, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, graduates. The day is here. It has finally come. You are now graduates of the University of Portsmouth. Congratulations to each and every one of you. I know what it took to get to this point, having sat where you are over 25 years ago when I myself graduated from this fine university. It took many a late night finishing assignments in the library, which was not open 24 hours in my day, sweat, tears, copious amounts of coffee, Pro Plus and Diamond White cider. Thank you to your family and friends who sit in the audience today bursting with pride. They have been part of your journey and as such a part of the university. I am glad that they are here today to witness your graduation and be part of your happy day. If it is even possible, today they will be even prouder of you than you are of yourself. Bursting with joy and pride, but also there might be a slight sigh of relief. Relief that you have made it to the end, that panic calls home will cease. Relief that emergency parcels of food, top-ups of phone credit, bank balances, trips to and from the university, couriering various items and people, and washing that somehow manages to find its way home will come to an end. Or was that just me? But what lays ahead and what is next? Well, firstly, let's think about the friendships that you have formed during your time at Portsmouth. Please hold these dear. These friends are your ready-made cheerleaders. They will be there for you and you for them during the ups and downs in your life and your career. The lessons that you have been taught at university, please remember. These are your compass. You leave university today and walk out into a world that may seem uncertain. A world of work which has been utterly transformed and will continue to be so. I want you to really hear this message. Please do not worry about the future ahead. You may be one of the lucky graduates sitting here today that has already secured the first step in your career, and if that is you, congratulations and well done. If not, I promise it will come. You may be busy applying for roles and receiving knockback after knockback, thanks but no thanks letters. You know what? That's okay. That was my story. It happened to me, rejection after rejection, before I secured my first role. I think it is fair to say it made me stronger, more determined, and made me understand the importance of resilience. I did not give up, and I think I've done okay. You are equipped to deal with whatever may come. You walk out of the university a foot taller than the day you walked in. You have the skill and knowledge to deal with change and uncertainty. Focus on having a growth mindset. At some point, you may feel you just cannot do something and want to give up. At times like that, always remember the magic word, yet. Whenever you find yourself saying, I can't, replace I can't with I can't yet. Because you can learn. You know that you have the ability to learn new things. You've just spent several years here proving how good you are at doing just that. Please always look up and see the world. Please, please stop looking at yourselves and the selfies you post and those of everyone else. The lens see in social media is exactly that, a lens, a filter which is not real. Do not compare your life and what is happening to you through this lens. Look up and look around. You have the ability to change the world by changing the immediate world that is around you. I want to give you one last piece of advice that was given to me recently. Put yourself first and last, and everyone else in between. Look after yourselves and find your purpose in the world. I want you to find your happy. This may not be immediate right now or even front of mind. It is, however, important. Your purpose will guide you through life and ensure you grab it with both hands and be successful in whatever you choose to do. You have the potential to make the world a much happier place and to make people feel that they belong. I wish you Godspeed and I wish you good luck. I wish you success however you define it, and I wish you a really happy and fulfilling life. Now, go out into the world and change it for the better, but make sure you take a moment and celebrate today first. Congratulations to all of our graduates. I now declare this congregation closed. Please be upstanding for the academic procession.